Hi there. I'm creating a video because I couldn't find one on YouTube to show you how to paint a vehicle with a small pancake compressor. So what I'm going to be using here is a Porter cable 150 psi 2.6 compressor, pretty standard for a garage use. I was able to paint primer on my truck, and it went on just fine. If you do it in sections, I was pretty pleased with the results. The key to doing this, from what I found, is to use an Lvlp spray gun. So I'll show you what I did. And before we get started here, I want to tell you what this video is not. This is not a video about paint application techniques, anything like that. This is purely about what I used to get hopefully decent results painting it's 1967 to 1972 C10. So don't comment about what I'm doing wrong, because this is purely about what I did. Okay, so I'll show you the equipment that I'm using here. I showed you that. From what I learned online, you need to have one of these regulator filters. So I bought that at Harbor Freight, pretty cheap. From there, that feeds up to my spool. And right now I'm not connected, but then I'll show you the gun. I think this is the key part right here. I bought this on Amazon. It's an Lvlp spray gun, okay? And on that you also have another air-water separator with, I put a digital regulator on it. So if you're looking for good techniques, there's this guy online, does a lot of YouTube videos, and I'll put a link. I can't remember his name right now, but I'll put it back on later. I've used him quite a bit for this, for all the painting that I've done. So if I post this, I guess I can say that the truck turned out well. So stay tuned. I guess if I don't end up posting this, it means it turned out poorly. So that's what I know for now. More back later. I'll also talk to you later in the video about what materials I used and how they turned out. I can tell you right now I used the Eastwood epoxy primer. Went on well. I did, actually I'll show you that right now, a test panel in the trunk, bed, sorry, to make sure that it actually worked well with the type of paint I'm using, and it did. So I bought another gallon of it. This was the Summit Racing single stage acrylic urethane paint, and went on just fine in the bed. So I went and bought a gallon of it, and I'm going to follow that up with some clear coat too, just to get some extra shine out of it. It's not required for a single stage, but why not? This stuff's pretty cheap. I think this was, 80 bucks. I don't even know if it was that much. This is 85 bucks. I think this was maybe like 60 bucks. So all in, it's going to be fairly inexpensive paint job if all goes well. So more to come, and later on in the video, again, if it turns out well, I'll continue posting this, and I will talk about the materials and costs, so that way you can have an idea what it ends up being all in. Phase 2 of painting is now about to begin. We finished cab, and I've sprayed the white stripe on the back here. So tomorrow morning we're going to be painting the blue, and then we should be done. So here's a quick update. I don't know if I did a shot of what the paint looked like after I'd painted and let it cure. It turned out fairly well. There's some orange peel. This is a pretty good shine you can see there. I don't know if you can really tell here very well, but there's some orange peel on the hood. Not horrible though, so it's going to be a cut and buff project when I'm done, but I'd say overall it's got some pretty good shine in most of the spots. Let's see if I could find a good spot. especially on the white. The white went in really well. I don't know if you can see the reflection there. And that's without any clear on it yet. So we'll see. I had a few runs. I'm still working to sand these guys out. But I'll do that before I spray the clear on tomorrow. Overall, pretty happy with this Summit paint. Went on really easy and easy to sand out. So so far so good. I think as of this point in time, I would recommend the Summit paint. So after tomorrow, we should be done. Then it's on to the cut and buff stage, but the hard part I think is almost over. That's it for today. Alright, finally, color sanding is done. Got it waxed up. Grand unveiling coming soon. But I will say I'm pretty happy with how the color sanding turned out. All good. Little flaw here and there, but for what it's worth, can't complain too much. So here is the pre-unveiling. Okay, so I'm now pleased to say that I'm done with the truck. So very happy with the shine and the gloss. It's all waxed. I'll try to put something out here to show you what it turned out like. Here's an old box for a fish finder. It's really sunny out right now. I'm not sure you can even see it, but if you look, it's got some pretty good shine on it. So overall, this stuff went on pretty easily. It's pretty bulletproof. By all means, this isn't a perfect paint job, but for the purposes of a first-time painter doing it in your garage, you can't beat it. So Summit single stage paint, highly recommended. Next, I will show you the materials that I used, and that'll be the end of it. So hopefully you can see some of the shine here. A lot of wet sanding and polishing, but worth it. Painful, probably never want to do this again, but it's good to do once. Finally, here are the materials I used. I only had to buy 1 gallon of this. It comes in 2 parts. It's the Eastwood epoxy primer. So that was the first thing. I bought that from Eastwood, obviously. And let's see, so the paint that I used, I went through 2 gallons of this. This is the Summit single stage acrylic urethane, and it's a coastal blue. So if that's what you're looking for, that's what coastal blue Summit looks like. And the white that I used, it was called Pure White. I went through 2 quarts of this. A little bit left there, and actually there's about half of that guy left too, so maybe a gallon and a half of that, but you want to buy 2. And then I finished it off with a gallon. Actually, I bought 2 gallons. I barely got into the second one of the Summit urethane clear coat. You want to make sure you get single stage as well. I live in Seattle, so I used the fast activator, and I didn't even have to use the reducer, but I bought it anyways. So that is the materials. And then once I had it all on, first thing I did was I hit it with the Meguiar's Pro Speed Compound 100, and I had this wool Meguiar's Soft Buff rotary wool pad. And then after I finished that, oh, I should back up a little bit. Before we got to this stage, I had to wet sand it. So I'll show you what I had over here, so I don't forget. Alright, so first thing we did was wet sand it with 600, then down to 1000, then down to 1500, and then down to 2000. And that was my concept drawing. But 600, 1000, 1500, 2000. So that's before you start polishing. Sorry about that, my mistake. And then once you do that, then you go down to the Meguiar's 100. That worked really well. Really well. I was really impressed. That was money well spent for sure. Next thing I did was I hit it with the Ultimate Compound on a yellow disc. I just got this on Amazon. It doesn't even say anything but about that. And then as a final, I hit it with the Meguiar's Ultimate Polish pre-wax glaze with the blue pad, same as the yellow one. I bought it on Amazon. And then once that's all done, I put on just a thing, I think it was Meguiar's also wax, just bought it at O'Reilly's. And that's the end of it, but I'll kind of show you the final thing. Again, it's the gun that I used was Amazon. Most importantly, Lvlp. Here are the specs. You know, it's pretty standard Chinese made gun, I'm sure. But I did it on the little Pancake Black & Decker compressor, and it worked. So this is what you can accomplish with a Pancake compressor, an Lvlp gun, and some single stage paint from Summit. And if I had to calculate it, I stopped calculating, but I'd probably have to guess I was somewhere around $500 or $600 all in on parts for the or materials for the paint job. I think a lot of it was actually on sandpaper. So anyways, hope you like it. Good luck.